Now, even though it's not exactly the movement, but it's close to the regular 10 movement, which takes 750 gram weights. As you can see, these weights are dropping evenly. However, this hour pipe will come forward. So you need to make sure that the hand is all the way back and that this nut is all the way back to prevent this from coming forward, or just push it back to prevent it from coming forward. Because if it comes forward, this wire will not hit those two pins. So while you're testing it out, make sure that this is all the way back. I got the movement back in the case. I got the bird and the little man hooked up. Now it's time to put the music box in. But you don't want the music, when you put the music box in, you don't want it to be starting a tune or in the middle of a tune. So you find the end of it and you would add Rodico to this thing so it doesn't turn on you. Now it's not turning, so now I should be able to put the music box in the case and it's set where it needs to be. And if you remember correctly, we put these little lines on the wood. That way we know how to put the music box back in where it's supposed to be. But we didn't know where the music started and where it stopped. And so I got to take the music box back out because it finished in the middle of a song. It wasn't very loud, so I moved the comb closer to the teeth, and as you can see, it's struggling to play. So I readjusted the comb. It plays fine now, and it stops where it needs to. I'll let this run for a little bit, and I got some bellow repair to do. Looking closer at the bellows, what I thought was a hole, just a piece of dirt on that one. And on this one, I didn't take the whole bellow apart. I just put a patch right here that had a crack. And this is the hinge for that repair. So I'm just going to clamp this for a little bit and call it good. I don't know if you saw me messing with this, but this is actually the pendulum that came with that clock. This pendulum here is for that clock I showed you that's over there on the wall over there. Same colors. This looks like it was damaged at one time. So I'm going to get out my colors and I'm going to fill that stuff in. They did a better job at painting this pendulum bob than they did this pendulum bob. As you can see on the sides, there's overspray, which I think it looks better myself. Where this pendulum bob It might have been overspray on one side at one time, but on this side it's completely bare except for what I just did. But anyway, that looks better to me than what it did. Came up this morning and the weights dropped evenly, so now it's time to start putting the bellows in. And I'm going to put one in, test it, and then put a different bellow in. Like I said, I like doing things one step at a time. That way I can resolve issues one step at a time. Now, because these bellows are both on the same side, I'm going to put the brothers bellow, which would be the low note bellow, in the back first. And by the way, the bellow low note lift wires are the same length. And where you connect the wire to, which is this little eye hook, it needs to be in the position that it's in. If it's turned, if the loop is turned, if I can get the loop to turn, if the loop is turned like that, then this wire will not work right, because you put it in and as you can see, it's not right. And that's why it is positioned this way. So when you put the loop in, when you connect the wire hangs lengthways or just like that. So now I got the low note bellow in, and all I'm going to do is hold the clock upright, hit the lever that's on the side, and test it. It tests just fine. So now it's time to put the high note bellow in. In this particular clock, the high note bellow has this long wire that's coming out of it, and that is so it could clear the pendulum leader. That way it could clear the pendulum, because the attachment lever is way over here, and if it had a short wire on it, then the pendulum would be hitting it. And if you open up the eyelet that is coming off the wire that's attached to the movement that the bellow wire attaches to, if you open up that eyelet, and once you got that wire connected on, all you have to do is trying to do this while this camera is in front of me is going to be a challenge, is get the lever connected to that wire, slide it over to the eyelet, which is open, and now you just close the eyelet, the loop, and now that bellow is connected. And so I'm going to test them both by opening up the door, pushing on the wire. Sounds great. So now it's time to put this clock back on my stand and let the bellows and the music play. So now, opening up the door, pushing on the lever. When I say the lever, there's this wire that comes off the movement that hits this wire here. This wire here is what makes the bird come out of the door. And I can push that all day long, and the only thing that's going to happen is that bird is going to come out of the door. But when I push this wire, it activates the cuckoo, and in this case, the music. Because this clock does play music on both the hour and the half hour. Because it's an older clock. Modern clocks, if they only have one song, one day movements, will only play the music on the hour. Pompo cuckoo clocks, because of design, even though Pompo cuckoo clocks were made in the 50s, about the time frame that this clock was made, 40s to 50s. It might have been made earlier, but Pompo cuckoo clocks, because of design, every time the bird goes out the door, it trips the music. So when it comes back in the door, the music plays. on the hour. Sounds great. So now I'm going to let it run just for a little bit and let the wheel itself trip the cuckoo and the music. You just got your plan. Then I'm going to turn the hand. I didn't mean to do that much. I'm going to turn the hand a little bit and then go play on my computer, and I'll speed this video up, of course. You'll see that it's going to play by itself. You always want to do these function tests one step at a time as you go. Don't get in a hurry. How did I come up with a set of hands? Without the pendulum on, it don't take as long to trip everything. But you want to make sure that the shaft is back. It's not even close to being in warning. I'm going to turn the hands just a little bit. There, that should speed things up. It's so good, or slow good, should I say. Again, I'm going to speed this portion up. I'm probably going to put round hole minute hands on because I'm running low on square hole minute hands. I need to order some more hands. Here we go. And I'm sitting over here. So now it's time to put the back door on. Again, one step at a time and test out the gong. Don't get in a hurry. And unfortunately, the back door, which has got this stuff on it, Bavaria, doesn't have a hole in it. So hopefully I can easily test out the gong. I should have checked this out before I put the bellows in, because it's a lot easier with the bellow out of the way to look in the hole of the bellow to see where the gong is. But because it doesn't have a hole in the door, you use some tape or string. I like using tape. You're gonna put the tape on the door where the gong is. I didn't get a long enough piece of tape. So put the tape on the door where the gong is, where it's lined up with the gong. Like so, and then put the door on, and then use the tape to hold, to wrap around the case. Like so. The tape is now on the case. I take the door off, and as you can see, once I tighten up this tape, the gong is well below the tape. So I need to bend the wire up. And now the hammer is lined up about where it needs to be, if that helps you out. So now this is going to get you in the ballpark range, all right? That way you're not sitting there having to mess with all this stuff. Now I'm going to put the door on. Now you can look through the cuckoo bird door. I'm going to trip. It's not hitting it. I'm going to see if I can look through the side door. If I can find my flashlight. To see if I can see the hammer. Which I can't. I didn't hear it hit the gong, so I'm going to bend the hammer down just a little bit. I'm looking at the side here to see if it's lined up with the gong. I bent it down just a little bit. And I'm going to trip it again. I didn't hear the cuckoo, so I think I had the hammer down too much. I think it's in warning. Let me try that again. I don't know if you heard that, but it hit the gong. But it wasn't the vibrant sound that I wanted to hear. It's not hitting the gong now. I should have left my tape on or put a mark on. It's hitting the gong, but I think it's hitting it too much. So I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. And I also need to tighten up this nail that holds the door closed because it's allowing the door to back out some. There we go. Not even close. And that's where, if I should screw all this and just drill a hole in the back of the door, it'd be so much easier. To pull with the weights, Mark. Like I said, it would be so much easier with a hole in the back of the door. Why they didn't put one in, I have no idea. That is close. Now the hammer doesn't hit that hard. So I think it's about adjusted about as close as it's going to get. And when I say the hammer doesn't hit that hard, Watch how much the gong raises. And that's because the pin that touches the 8-point star wheel, I don't think it's that long. So that's as close as it's going to get. I know the clock is working. I'm not going to have to take the movement out. So I'm going to go ahead and put the chain links and hooks on off camera. And because I see more and more of these issues, I got the B-wire off and I'm looking at it under my microscope. And so why not fix the issue while you have a chance? And get things to cooperate here. They don't look that bad. I'm going to turn it over. And I look at this side. And I don't know if I had it turned over correctly or not. So I'm going to turn it back over and look at this side. There might be a minor flat spot in there. But because I have this thing off, I'm taking my round file to it just to be sure. Because I've already got it off. And so put the round file in, give it a couple of, this is a tapered file, and that's what you want to use. Give it a couple of swipes with the round file. And that way you know it doesn't have any flat spots in it. And when you put this thing back on, make sure that the loops are the same diameter. When I tell people that God helps me work on clocks, they think I'm full of crap. I put the V-wire on. I went to find the pendulum leader wire, which was supposed to be in my parts container box. This box right here. And it wasn't in there. And I got down on my hands and knees. I looked on the desk. I looked quite a few places for it. And something kept telling me, Mark, you need to take your pills that you take. And I keep my bag upstairs now because this is where I go first thing in the morning. So I went to get my pills. And guess what? This pendulum leader wire was inside that bag. It had fallen off my desk and went in that bag. And when I say that sometimes God helps me work on clocks, I'm sitting there asking God, show me where this thing is. He tells me, Mark, take your pills. And guess what? There, where it was. If that's not God helping me out, I have no idea what it is. Now, if you watch my other videos, I tell people the way I do it is I open up what I call the foot of the virgin crutch assembly, which is this bent part right here. I didn't say open it up to where it's 90 degrees. I said open it up enough so you can see this pendulum leader wire bounce off of it. I get in arguments with people all the time about opening that up. Mark, you're supposed to keep it closed. The way people were taught back in the past, and I've even had somebody, I was helping somebody out in another group. He had an American parlor, kitchen clock, whatever you want to call it, that he was working on. And he was like, I can't get this thing to stay running. And there was people telling him, yeah, you got bushing wear, you got this, you got that, you got this. I told him to open up the foot, make the clock run, and whenever it stops, whatever side the leader wire, whatever side of the foot is on, whether it's on the left side of the foot or the right side of the foot, bend the crutch toward that way. And I sat and argued with this guy. Well, not argued. I had a conversation with this guy for over an hour, back and forth. And I'm like, it's only going to take you 5 minutes to do this, to figure it out. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll admit it. He finally does it. And he came back telling me, Mark, I've been repairing clocks for 30 years, and I've always was told to keep that thing closed. I observe more than anything else because I don't hear that well. And so whatever side of the foot is on, that's the side you adjust. And you start the pendulum again. And if it's on the left side, you bend it. So the crutch, you bend it to where you're holding the top section of the crutch assembly where it comes out of the movement, and you're holding the bottom part. If I want to bend this thing to the left, using my right hand, put my pointer finger up here, put my middle finger on the foot, and then using my thumb, bend it in the middle. If I want to bend it to the right, I use my left hand and do the same thing. And if after a few tries, it tells you to go to the left, you bend it to the left. Next time it tells you go to the right, you bend it to the right. Then you barely move it and it tells you to bend it to the left. More than likely, it's the V-wire, and you got grooves in your V-wire. So anyway, I got the foot open. I'm going to put this thing back on my stand, put it in beat, and I've got a video that shows you how to put a clock in beat. I'm not going to show you all that, and then we'll get back to you. The clock is level. I can put my finger right here to where the pendulum leader wire is touching my finger, and it still bounces off and it's still ticking. I can put it over here. If you put it too close, it's not going to work, but you have to put it far enough away. The clock is in beat. It's level. I can put the pendulum on and it'll stay running. And these are pictures that I saved to my computer from the site that I bought the clock off of. And I paid a cheap money for it. You can see the hands were broken. Had 2 weights, but again, they were the wrong size weights. That's probably why they got rid of this clock. And you can see the topper didn't have a deer. It didn't have the horn. And that's overall picture. And I'm upstairs. There's a bathroom up here. I will warn you, the way I hooked up the attic, the exhaust fan is to the light, so it's noisy. How many of y'all have clocks in your bathroom? There used to be a shower here. There's the drain for it, be a corner shower. There used to be a sink over here. None of that was here when I bought this house. And I never took the time to put one in. Little man's not coming out, and that's because I'm going to have to adjust the wire on the side that pushes the little man out. So stand by. The wire I'm talking about is this long wire right here, and how do you push it to the side? The way I found easier is put this tool inside, stick it underneath the wire, and then using your fingers to push it. This keeps it in place when you stick it underneath that wire. And now, when I push on it, little man comes out, the music is playing. And he goes back in. Here's a song that it plays. It's Thorn's music. If you can understand that. The music box is made in Switzerland. Doesn't necessarily mean the clock is made in Switzerland. There wasn't a name. I would say this clock was made in Germany. 1940s time frame. Possibly 1950s. But anyway, I hope y'all like this video. I still have to come up with a deer head, a horn, and I need to order some different hands for my clocks. I'm running low on certain kind of hands. But leave me some comments. Give me a thumbs up. You know, it hurts my channel if you don't leave me comments and give me a thumbs up. May God bless each and every one of you. Eventually this clock I'll have running. I'll hang up right next to it. Same movement, same system. A lot of people want to know how you hang up a clock if the screw is sticking out far enough. All you have to do is open up this door. Let me see if I can do this while holding this camera. Open up the door, shine a flashlight in. And you should be able to see the screw head sticking through the hole and the back of the clock behind the screw. Again, leave me some comments. May God bless each and every one of you.